This is the place where families ended, where life that they knew until now came to an end.
Damn the Nazis!
Later, in March of 1941, they began building and soon opening in Auschwitz II, a Birkenau camp right here. Then they would be let out in the entrance and walk in. By mid-1944, the spring of 1944, this ramp and these train tracks were built to accommodate the expected arrival of about 600,000 Hungarian Jews. Hungary was not occupied, was not deported until the summer of 1944. With this arrival of so many hundreds of thousands of Jews, the Nazis prepared differently, and they built the ramp that you're on with the train spurs here, so the train could now come right into the camp, right in front of the two crematoria and gas chambers, right down below us. We'll see them later. And in full view of the gas chamber, they got off the train and they unloaded here, right where we're standing. This is the platform. Depending on which side the train was, it was one way or the other. But this is where people got off the train at the end, the last 8-9 months of Birkenau's operation. And you've seen pictures, and if not, let me share some with you so you get a sense of idea what's going on. Day and night, winter, spring, summer, and fall, all year round. The trains are coming in, stopping, 20 at a time, opening up, and all of a sudden people are confronted with mass confusion, obviously. Guards and guard towers and dogs. You can imagine the mass confusion. The orders being barked at them. Okay, everybody stand here, right? That was taking place right where you're standing right now. One of the biggest components of the crime that the Nazis committed on was the deceit. People arrived in Auschwitz having no idea what the name meant. What is it? Where are we? Why should they look at that building with the chimney and the smoke coming out? It didn't mean anything to them. There's the gate in the background, which is right over there. So successful were they with their campaign of deceit. Jews from Greece, for crying out loud, traveled 10 days, 2 weeks by train to this climate, to a country they'd never set foot in, languages they'd never heard before. What on earth is going on? They were doomed. Unlike the Europeans who had some common language here and could find someone to help and to speak with and work with, these people couldn't communicate to anybody. How do they find, right? And they were doomed. They really couldn't take care of themselves, no one taking care of them. You see in this picture the separation being formed. Men to the left, women to the right, okay? You've all heard of this election, right? See, these women are going off to one side. We can't tell if it's left or right, but it's clear they've been told to go. And how was the selection done? There's a number of ways, right? Either a Nazi officer or a doctor would stand here and he'd look you over and look at you left, you right, you left, you right. And in the matter of a few seconds, it would be decided right away who's going to be used for work or who's going right up the chimney. Split-second decision. Go with you, go with that, go with you. Can mean life or death. But they didn't know that. They didn't know that. Nobody told them. Okay, this is it, folks. You're saying goodbye now. All right? Make sure you part because you're not going to... They didn't tell them that. They stole that from us. And the separation happened right here. Selection took place within a matter of seconds. Mengele, Dr. Mengele, is so popular in the memories of the survivors. He wasn't always here. There were 21 doctors changing shifts day and night. Men and women over 50, 40 were killed straight away. Okay? Only up to about 15% of the people who arrived here were selected for life. Most of the arrivals in Auschwitz were gone in 4 hours. Smoke up the chimney. Nobody survives 3 years in Auschwitz. You can't, right? You just can't. You're not getting enough food. There's no way. The people who survived, there are about 65,000 survivors of Auschwitz. Okay? And remember, Auschwitz-Birkenau is 45 different camps. It's not all death camps. It's work camps, labor camps, all of them. There's 65,000 of them. 10,000 from the large ghetto, who only arrived in August. And lots of Hungarian Jews are survivors. Why? Because they were the last ones in. They came in the summer from home, well-fed, no ghettos, right? No forced labor. Do you understand? So who survived? The ones that got here last. They were here the shortest amount of time. They were the healthiest, the best fed, and so on. The German physician has a new job: to kill and not cure his patients, right? So they come. This Dr. Mengele, he would whistle. He was good looking. He was always well dressed. He stood here on the ramp, looking at the people. They were led before an SS officer, who, in the midst of all the madness, agony, and death, seemed very out of place. His handsome face was set with a kind smile. His uniform impeccably tailored, clean and pressed. He was cheerfully whistling an opera tune, one of his favorites by Wagner. His eyes betrayed nothing but a cursory interest in the drama that was unfolding before him, the drama of which he alone was the chief architect. He carried a riding crop, but rather than using it to strike the prisoners as they passed before him, he merely used it to indicate which direction he selected them to go, right? Links oder rechts, right? Left or right. Unbeknownst to the prisoners, this charming and handsome officer with the innocuous demeanor was engaging in his favorite activity, Auschwitz, selecting which new arrivals were fit to work, and which ones were sent immediately to the gas chambers and crematorium. Those sent to the left, roughly 10 to 30% of all new arrivals, had their lives spared at least for the moment. Those sent to the right, usually 70 to 90% of all new arrivals, had been condemned to die without even a passing glance. Children were doomed. If you were a child, there was no chance. And if you were a mother holding a child, obviously, you joined the elder and the younger, and you were sent to death immediately. So what do you do? If you look around you and you think something suspicious, what do you do? A young woman was pushing her way through the crowd near us, and a little girl ran after her, weeping and sobbing, "Mama! Mama!" The woman did not look back, but pushed ahead, and the little girl screamed louder. Suddenly, a guard came up, sunburned, tall, formidable. He grabbed the woman by her shoulder with his left hand and slapped her with his right hand, yelling, "You Jew! Are you running away from your own child?" She reeled under the blow, then her face distorted with pain and anger. She shouted, "Let me go, you beast! That isn't my child. I have no children. You mind your own business. How dare you hit me? Is this your mother?" He asked the little girl. The child, no more than 3 years old, nodded. The man slapped the woman again. "You were willing to screw and bring bastards into the world, and now you don't want to croak with her? You bitch, you whore!" He slapped her again and again. "She isn't mine. I'm 22. I want to live." The woman tried to argue, but she weakened under the blows. In the end, she broke down, grabbed the child in her arms, and pressed it to her breast. She was whimpering now, and stood like a statue of suffering, resigned to her fate. That's just one testimony I'm reading to you, but can you imagine how often that must have played out here? Or how about this one? A mother's in the train with her 2 sons, a 14-year-old boy and a 10-year-old boy, and it's a long ride. And the whole ride, the boys are playing, kids are kids, and they spend the whole train ride fighting. And the mother keeps scolding the bigger boy. He's the big brother. You're the big brother. But he started, yes, but you're the big brother. You end it, right? Sound familiar? "Mommy, Mommy," he picked on me. "Stop it already. Mommy, Mommy, stop it already. Mommy." Oh, this poor kid was sick and tired of always being berated and scolded by his mother. So much so that finally when the train pulled in, after all these days together, after all these days of being scolded by his mother, after all these days of his younger brother always getting the preferential treatment, the hugs, when the train stopped and they pull out and they're ordered to separate, and the mother looks around and sees what's going on, she takes the little 10-year-old by the hand and she pushes her 14-year-old son across. And he's furious. It doesn't end. And he turns around and says, "I hope you die." Of course she does. He didn't know that. He certainly didn't mean to be wishing that on her. Damn the Nazis. For doing this to us. Taking away our choices, taking away our lives, and lying to us all the way to the end.